Just 3 days into the legislative session, Republicans advanced their plan to insert the Trump tax cuts into Arizona's tax code. But Democratic Governor Katie Hobbs has said she'll veto it. That adds to the uncertainty for taxpayers. One longtime tax analyst tells me he might wait until the last minute to file.
President Donald Trump signed off last 4th of July on one of the largest tax breaks in a generation. Now, months later, Arizona lawmakers are racing to catch up.
The screen is pitch black. A single rhythmic sound echoes, the steady thump-thump of a heavy stapler hitting a door. Suddenly, a flash of high-contrast white, a notice to vacate flyer being smoothed over a sun-cracked Arizona doorframe. We aren't in a boardroom, we are standing on a dusty porch in Maryvale at 118 degrees. It's not supposed to happen this way, a voice whispers. But we don't see who is talking. The camera pans slowly across a living room, where everything is already packed into cardboard boxes, except for a child's half-eaten bowl of cereal and a pile of tax documents with urgent stamped in red. The state of Arizona says they have $5,000 waiting for you. A life raft in a desert of debt. But as you reach for it, you realize the raft is made of lead. Why are 1 million Arizonans being told to file their taxes immediately while Senator J.D. Mesnard is practically screaming for them to stop? State official, file your returns now. The system is ready. Your refund is the key to your survival. Homeowner, but the law changed. If I file now and the codes don't match, I lose everything. My rent is due in 4 days. State official, then don't file. But without that refund, the eviction starts on the 5th. This is the Arizona tax trap. A legislative civil war has turned your kitchen table into a battlefield. They promised a safety net called HB 2682, but they forgot to mention the invisible tripwires. If you don't have a child under 18, you're out. If you've lived there for 11 months instead of 12, you're out. And if you dare to file your taxes the way the governor told you to, you might just trigger a $20 million error that deletes your future. The silence in this room isn't peace. It's the sound of a trap snapping shut. You want to see how this house of cards falls before your own front door is next? Subscribe now. We are just getting started. We are standing at the edge of a fiscal canyon, and the people in charge are telling us to jump. They say the water is fine, but if you look closely at the paperwork in your hand, you'll see the ink is still wet and potentially forged. The Arizona Department of Revenue, acting under an unprecedented executive order, has done something that legal experts are calling a bureaucratic suicide mission. They released the 2025 tax forms based on a guess. They assumed the Republican-led legislature would simply bow to Governor Katie Hobbs' vision of tax conformity. They baked in deductions for seniors, overtime, and even vehicle loans that haven't actually been signed into law yet. It's a phantom tax code. 1 million of you are currently holding documents that Senator J.D. Mesnard says are essentially misleading. If you file today, you aren't just sending in a return, you are participating in a $20 million gamble where the House always wins and you pay the refiling fees when the house of cards inevitably collapses. Why would they do this? Why create a sense of urgency for a deadline that is months away? The answer isn't in the tax code. It's in the desperate silence of the Maricopa County eviction courts. You see, the government knows that for a huge portion of the state, that tax refund isn't extra money. It's the only thing standing between a family and a sidewalk. By telling you to file now, they are dangling a carrot over a pit of administrative quicksand. If you file, and the laws don't catch up to the forms, you'll be forced to file an amended return. That means more fees for your tax preparer and a delay in the very money you needed to survive. It's a cycle of controlled chaos designed to keep you moving forward while your feet are actually sinking. The unknown person who authorized these forms didn't do it out of kindness. They did it to provide a temporary illusion of progress in a year where the state's budget deficit is looming like a hungry predator. But the tax trap is only the first layer of this Arizona nightmare. Let's talk about the miracle of House Bill 2682. The headlines call it the $5,000 lifeline. They want you to believe that the state has finally found a way to stop the record-breaking wave of evictions hitting neighborhoods like Maryvale and Westridge Park. But have you read the eligibility requirements? This is where the discomfort turns into a cold, hard sweat. To qualify for this emergency rent, you must have a child under 18 living in the home. If you are a hard-working couple whose kids have grown up, or a single person struggling to make ends meet in a studio apartment, the state has decided you aren't worth the investment. You are the acceptable losses in their political math. But even if you have the child, the tripwires continue. You must have lived in that specific rental for exactly 12 months. 11 months and 29 days? Denied. And then there is the most disturbing requirement of all. You cannot be more than 2 months behind. Think about that logic for a second. The program meant to save people from eviction is only available to those who aren't too far gone. It's like a doctor refusing to treat a patient because their fever is too high. If you've been struggling for 90 days, if you've been choosing between groceries and the landlord for 3 months, the state of Arizona turns its back on you. They are looking for the clean poor, the ones who fit into a neat administrative box. The rest of you? You are just data points in the highest eviction rate Arizona has seen in a generation. In Maricopa County alone, landlords win 99% of the time in court. They have lawyers, you have a pile of tax forms that might not even be legal. The psychological weight of this realization is starting to set in, isn't it? You're realizing that the help isn't actually for you. It's for the idea of you that looks good in a press release. While the Department of Revenue tells you to hurry up and file, the Department of Economic Security is building a gate with a lock that only a fraction of people can open. We are seeing a pattern interrupt in real time. The image of Arizona as an affordable desert paradise is being replaced by a clinical, high-stakes machine that harvests your data and offers you a lead life raft in return. And we haven't even touched the energy crisis yet. We haven't talked about why your power bill is about to jump by 14% just as your tax refund vanishes into an amended return nightmare. Are you starting to see the shape of the trap? Wait. Before you go looking for the exit, ask yourself, who benefits when the safety net is designed to fail? Who benefits when 1 million people are forced to pay for their taxes twice? It's not the families in the stucco houses with the notice to vacate on the door. There is a silent beneficiary in this chaos, a shadow in the Phoenix skyline that thrives on your confusion. We are entering the heart of the sin, and the answers are buried under a mountain of bipartisan bickering and empty promises. Don't look away. The most uncomfortable truth is still to come, and it involves a $1.8 billion loan that vanished into thin air just 4 days ago. The walls are closing in, and the desert heat is the least of your worries. But the tax trap isn't just about the money they take. It's about the basic needs they keep just out of your reach. While you're staring at those confusing tax forms, another predator is moving in the shadows of the Phoenix skyline. Just 4 days ago, on January 29, 2026, a $1.8 billion promise evaporated into the desert heat. The Department of Energy officially killed a massive loan that was supposed to help Arizona Public Service, APS, upgrade our crumbling grid and bring in cheaper, cleaner power. They told us it was about efficiency, but the timing is far too perfect to be an accident. Without that $1.8 billion, the bill for progress is being handed directly to you. APS and TEP are already lining up to demand a 14% rate hike. That is an extra $20 a month, every month, just as your tax refund is being swallowed by administrative errors. If you're feeling a tightness in your chest, that's the realization that every exit is being blocked at once. Your rent is rising because of corporate greed, your tax refund is a gamble because of political ego, and your power bill is soaring because the federal safety net was just cut. This is why we dig deeper, because the people on the news won't tell you how these dots connect. You need to stay ahead of the next trap before the lights go out. Hit that subscribe. Who is the unknown person at the center of this? It isn't just one bureaucrat. It is a systemic sin of silence. The Department of Revenue released those 2025 forms knowing they didn't match the law, betting that you wouldn't notice until the eviction notice was already on your door. They are counting on your confusion. They need you to be too tired from working overtime. Overtime that they promised wouldn't be taxed but is currently caught in a legislative limbo to fight back. The answer isn't coming from the Capitol. It's coming from the realization that the system isn't broken. It's working exactly as intended for the people who own the buildings you live in. The loop is finally closing. You were looking for a life raft, but you found a machine. The $5,000 promise of HB 2682, the guest tax refunds, and the billion-dollar energy betrayal are all parts of the same high-stakes game. You aren't just a citizen. In the eyes of the 2026 Arizona budget, you are a line item to be optimized. The answer to what happened is simple. They traded your stability for their certainty. But now that you see the tripwires, you can choose where to step. Don't let the desert sun blind you to what's happening in the shade. Subscribe to stay in the loop. Because in Arizona, the only thing more expensive than the heat is the truth.